I hope he picks Chelsea Gallup.
All right, we're live.
To learn more, 800-471-7065, 800-471-7065, 800-471-7065. That's 800-471-7065.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host
Let's
and
get
do not
rambling,
express the
ramblers.
views of WVVF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning, and welcome to Middleboro in Review. I am Joey Driscoll, joined by Don, as always. Good morning, Don.
You know, I listened to that intro. We've been going 5 years strong with Tony Lopes.
Yes.
What a badge of honor to have Tony Lopes introduce your show. Everybody in this area who's been on the radio for so long, everyone knows Tony Lopes. Tony Lopes is a household name. To have him introduce your show on every Sunday morning, I believe it's a badge of honor. I love hearing his voice, and I'm glad he's back. Speaking of Tony Lopes, he is starting his show next week.
He already started it. Friday.
Right, but he started his normal schedule.
He starts his normal schedule this week, yes.
Okay, what's his schedule this week?
His schedule will be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Right,
9 to 11 on Wednesdays, and Fridays 9 to 12, I believe, on Tuesdays.
So we got Coffee with Tony this week. So anybody who listens to our show normally doesn't listen to the week. You want to check out Tony. He has a lot of great guests on. He's been doing this a long time, and we're really excited to have him back. He really is. He's such a inspiration. Watching him do this work and just being Joey's co-host for the last 5 years, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot off everyone here at WBBF, all the people, all the professionals, but Tony mostly. Tony hired Joey, and it's important to recognize that. It's important to acknowledge that, because sometimes people get their big break in life from one person, and also plus all the management here keeping Joey going and believing in him and giving him all the work and stuff like that. So it's something that's I hear Tony's voice every Sunday morning when we do this, and it's a great intro. Joey loves it. No, you love that intro, Joey?
Yes, I do.
So, but I just figured I'd say that.
All right, Taunton weather. Let's start with Taunton. 48 degrees, cloudy skies. Today, 54 today with cloudy skies throughout the day. Tomorrow, cloudy again, 72, a low of 52. Middleboro, 48 degrees, cloudy, high of 54, very cloudy today. Rain tomorrow in Middleboro, 73 degrees, a low of 52 tomorrow night. Driscoll, Texas, 78 degrees, mostly sunny skies, a high of 87. Windy today, a low of 78. 92 tomorrow with a low of 78 tomorrow night and sunny skies. And Driscoll, North Dakota, 37 degrees, mostly sunny skies, a high of 69, low of 37. Tomorrow, 62 degrees and windy, also windy on Tuesday as well in Driscoll, North Dakota. Our today in history, give me a minute on that. I haven't logged in.
Yeah, we usually have Chuck Hart there from St. Vincent de Paul, but he isn't feeling well today, so he couldn't make it with us. So Chuck usually joins us the first Sunday of every month, so he'll be back in June, first Sunday in June. So I hope Chuck feels better. It's great having him here, but I think Joey and I can steer the ship by ourselves. We've done it before. I think we can handle it, right, Joe?
Yes. Yes, we can. And just give me 1 second. I'm currently logging in so that I can get to my today in history. This just seems to be very slow today, unfortunately. Anyway, What else is going on, Don? How was your week?
How was your week? You asked me first?
Don, I asked you.
You asked me first?
Yes, I
What's
asked
with
you
your
first.
computer over there?
It's slow.
You got Butterfingers over there? You got sticky
No,
fingers over
it's
there?
just being slow.
It's being slow.
It's being slow down.
All right, then. Maybe we should talk to you.
How was your week?
It was good. It was all right.
Good.
So you need me to bail you out because
Yes.
you got sticky fingers over there, huh?
Yes,
you need me
Don.
to say what my week was, huh?
Okay. Anyway,
All right, move on to
We got
something
it.
else. You know?
all right, we got it. 1865, American Civil War. The Confederate government was declared dissolved at Washington, Georgia, on this day, May 5th, 1865. 1920, authorities arrest Nicola Sacco and Bartholomew Vanzetti for alleged robbery and murder. That happened in Braintree, Massachusetts, by the way. That happened here in this state. 1945, World War II Castle Itter battle. One of only two battles in that war in which American and German troops fought cooperatively. 1973. Yesterday was the Kentucky Derby. We'll have more on that in a little bit. But on this day in 1973, Secretariat wins the 1973 Kentucky Derby in 1 minute and 59 seconds and 2/5. And as yet unbeaten record. 1987, Iran-Contra affair, start of congressional televised hearings in the United States of America. The Iran-Contra affair, a very complicated thing that we don't have time to talk about. It would take forever to talk about it. It's very complicated.
I feel that was the start of all the scandals, in the press and stuff like that. I mean, Watergate was one thing.
The real start of it was Watergate.
Yeah, but that went from like 73, 74, whatever.
Yeah.
Up to the, but it really, one thing after another after that. After 87.
If you really want to go back far, the teapot dome scandal. Yeah, that was pretty bad too.
I don't know. I guess when cable news kicked in, the money the cable companies and the news agencies made just on these stories alone were just millions and millions and probably into billions of dollars. So why not have them, every week? And I don't know.
1 year ago today, the World Health Organization declares the end of the COVID-19 pandemic as a global health emergency. Birthdays on this day, 1929, Eileen Woods, American actress. Woods was the original voice of the title character of this Walt Disney animated feature. Don, which one is it?
Ugh.
Take a guess.
She was born in 1929?
1929, Eileen Woods.
Okay, well, it could be Snow White because that came out in the 20s or the 30s, right? No clue.
Cinderella.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Cinderella. For which she was named a Disney legend in 2003. She passed away in 2010.
A lot of people started in their career in Disney. Kurt Russell had a lot to do with it. He was young. I know he played in Hollywood as a younger. I'm not sure about younger Disneys, but I know he was a lot to do with that Herbie the Love Bugs. I'm not sure if they were Disney. I'm pretty sure they were. There was a series of movies of Herbie the Love Bug, like late 60s, early 70s, mid 70s. They were a lot of fun. Actually, I went and saw one of them with my father at the drive-in, and it was so many of them. The little beetle, it was great. It came alive. So that was, it seems like the creativity back then was unsurpassed. It just seemed like they had it, and there was always a new idea. There was always something going on, and I feel that's lacking these days. I mean, where are the Herbie the Love Bugs? Where are the Benjis? All the stuff I grew up with, I really enjoyed. Benji was something that was, I'm not sure if it was Disney, but Benji was something I used to watch, and I used to be Benji movies, and you had Little House on the Prairie, How the West Was Won. It was a spinoff with, I can't recall the the actor. I will in a second, but I can't recall him. He played in a lot of Western movies. So I, I do remember Herbie the Love Bug. It was fun.
Speaking of animated films,
James Arness. That was the guy.
yeah. Speaking of animated films, Burt Reynolds was in one. All Dogs Go to Heaven,
Okay.
and that was a really good one. I watched that several times. There was a remake that was not as good, but still pretty good. Charlie Sheen did that one.
All right.
That wasn't that bad either. I thought he did a good job on that one.
Yeah.
But Burt Reynolds was really good. In this
I
one.
say the best voice for a cartoon, anime, whatever you want to call it, was Cars and Paul Newman.
Yes.
What was his character's name?
Doc Hudson.
Doc Hudson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doc
that
Hudson.
first, and that was the only one he did, right? He didn't do another one. I think he passed away. Yeah.
No, I think he passed away.
Yeah,
He passed away not too long after that. So.
Yeah, it was great having his voice on Doc Hudson. And anybody who saw the movie knew what his car was. It was an old Hudson. I think it was an old Hudson car.
Yeah, Hudson Hornet. It was the Hudson Hornet.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
In the 40s.
Yeah, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Definitely a recommendation from me to check out. One of Burt Reynolds' animated films that he did, voiceovers. It's a pretty good film. It has some pretty good people in it. Does have a lot of controversy surrounding it, a lot of dark stuff surrounding it. One of the actresses in it was unfortunately murdered after this, or before the film as well. But that was very dark. What happened there? We won't go into it, but you can look that up.
That was true. That had nothing to do with the show itself.
No, it had nothing to do with the movie itself, but surrounding the actress who played in that film was murdered. And that was, you could look that up and
It's funny
check out more information.
because I mean, all the Batman,
We won't get into that here.
all the Batman, all the comics and cartoons I used to watch got really dark.
Yeah.
Especially with the comic books.
Yes.
In the
Yes,
mid-eighties.
very
And
dark in
my
the comic
friend
books.
Kevin started collecting them, and I was looking at them. I was like, where did this come from?
The Dark Knight era was very dark.
Arcade Asylum was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me this stuff, and I'm used to
Yeah.
pow, boom, bam.
Very-
you know what I mean? From
very
the
brutal
original-
stuff.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
and I'm looking at this, and I'm just like, this isn't for kids.
It's not. No,
Yeah.
it's really not for kids.
My buddy Kevin had a whole stack of them. Looking at them, I was like, man, this is sort of disturbing. And then they went into the movies with that because the Batman with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton.
That was goofy.
It was goofy.
It was goofy.
A little violent, but goofy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was almost like.
And
the
then you
original.
get to the Heath Ledger
And then you get
era.
to the Heath Ledger with the and you
Yeah.
know, they're off
And
the
then
rail.
now the Robert Patterson era, very dark too.
and then you have Joaquin Phoenix doing
And
the
then,
Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix, pretty brutal too.
Yeah, it's just twisted.
More twisted than brutal.
No, but even
Yeah.
the Dark Knight's all twisted. Heath Ledger was just
Yeah.
twisted. He was
Yeah.
the best Joe. He was the best character out of all the Batman.
He is the best Joker.
All of them.
Yes,
And-
he was the best Joker. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a close second, but he is number one.
And then Jack Nicholson was good, but it was
Jack Nicholson was
comedic
third.
in a way. It was comedic in a way. It was
Jack
kinda goofy.
Nicholson was third, and then I'd have to look up all of the Jokers.
Well, there's
Mark Hamill would probably be 4, and Mark Hamill didn't.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill wasn't in a film.
No, he was.
He was in the animated.
Right, he was
shows.
the voiceover.
Yes, he was
Yeah,
the voiceover. He was in the animated shows.
There's always one scene in the original, not the original Batman, the Batman with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. He walks up to his buddy Bob and he goes, "You are my number one guy."
That's
number one.
that is hilarious.
That is like one of the best-
That's one of the
Best
best
lines.
lines in the movie. You should check that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the actor is, but he's played in plenty more. I know he was in Erin Brockovich as a cameo appearance or whatnot, and he was Bob. He was his number one guy.
So, to wrap this all up, check out Cars, check out All Dogs Go to Heaven, the original with Burt Reynolds, and the sequel. I think the sequel is pretty good. Not as good as the original, like I mentioned, not as good as the original. Charlie Sheen does a really good job, though. You know, I mean, I just knew Charlie Sheen, you know, from you know,
But 2.5.
2.5 Men, and
Yeah.
I think he was in Red Dawn, correct? Was he in Red Dawn?
Yeah,
Yes, I knew him from that.
Everyone was in Red Dawn. There
Yeah,
was a lot of people in
and
Red
I
Dawn.
didn't know that he did any, you know, cartoons. I didn't know he did any voiceover work, but he did this remake for All Dogs Go to Heaven, and that was pretty good as well. So definitely check that out as well. And on some of the Batman films are really good to check out too, especially Jack Nicholson's one as well.
Well, he was only in one.
He was only in one. Jack Nicholson's one is really good, and then the Mark Hamill series. Mark Hamill does a very good job with his voiceovers. He's done Batman. He's done Chucky. He voiced Chucky in one of the most recent films that they did, and he was really good in that.
I think in like, I'm not calling, when I say originals here, the original movies, because
Yes,
they made a movie in '66 with Adam West and Burt.
and then that
So,
is good.
that
That is very good.
That was one movie they made.
Yeah, and that
It
is
was-
very
It was
good.
kicked off the series in '66 or '65, whatever. And then they came with a more. I think the first one was in '88 or '89, and Michael Keaton was the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one was Val Kilmer. And I think it didn't do too well because they went from, you know, they changed the Batman, but that was a great, great movie. Val Kilmer did awesome. And then after that, I'm thinking, what was it, George Clooney after that?
Mm-hmm.
So there was only 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was it, right?
Yes.
Maybe 5, or maybe Clooney did 2 or something like that.
You know, it was great. A great animated series, and it was on Cartoon Network. It was borderline. Probably shouldn't have been on Cartoon Network, but it was. They just kind of skirted the line here with the series.
It was probably the time.
And it was the time. It was the early 2000s. It was Teen Titans. Teen Titans was really, really good. The original series. The series they have now, I'm not going to go into it. I'll get mad. They ruined that series. I'll just say that. They ruined it. And that's all I'll say there. But the original series, the original Teen Titans series was really, really good and really dark as well. And I mean, was a product of the time too. Those were the early 2000s. Things were different on TV than they are even now. So, yeah, a lot of great television shows are no longer here because, of course, the changing of things on television kind of ended a lot of series, you know, like, you know, The Sopranos as well. That's kind of something. Well, it wasn't on TV. That was on HBO, but that was a good series too.
So, you know, you got those.
But again, like I said, the changing of TV, a lot of these series went by the wayside or ended, and
well, things could surprise you sometimes because, you know, you like a program and it's been off for years, and half the cast has passed away, and you wonder, you know, they can't do anything with that. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, they'll probably leave it alone.
Yeah.
You know, let dogs lie or whatever.
yeah, like
Sometimes-
like The Sopranos or Breaking Bad.
But-
Breaking Bad, half of the characters passed away.
Yeah,
Half the
but
characters died.
Sometimes, like, you know, Sylvester Stallone, great actor, you know, and then all of a sudden, Tulsa comes out.
Tulsa was real. Tulsa,
Yeah.
I've heard
It
a
came
lot of
out
good things.
Well, yeah, it came out of nowhere about 3 years ago, and it's awesome. He is so good in that. He's the coolest guy. He's cool. I like him better in this than I ever liked him. I'm just like, so they do reinvent these people. They do reinvent these actors. I mean, I'm not saying they're washed up or, but, you know, I mean, or whatever, but,
No,
you know, but I mean.
because they're not.
But they come in with a new character.
Mm-hmm.
And they just, you look at these characters like Kevin Costner on Yellowstone, for instance. I mean, I don't think you want, you know.
Yeah, and then all these series as well. They
Yeah.
made people who they are today. James Gandolfini wasn't really doing a whole lot. He
did
did do Get Shorty.
No, he did a lot of
I think that was before.
He was in Crimson Tide, too.
Okay, so he was that.
He was in a bunch of
But the Sopranos shot him to the stratosphere.
The Last Castle. That was, I think it was one of the last movies.
And then he did a lot of great films after that too.
Yeah.
But he did do Get Shorty before The Sopranos, and he did some other stuff as well, and that was really good. But The Sopranos made him very, very popular.
Well, he was a character actor.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at a lot of movies from the 80s, you probably see him here and there, and he plays a character actor, and I think he does play, the mob-related kind of character.
Yeah, I mean, Edie Falco. You couldn't escape Edie Falco if you were watching HBO in the 2000s. The Sopranos, all the series that she was in, made her very, very popular.
And then she turned around and did Nurse Jackie after.
Very popular.
Awesome.
Very popular stuff.
Oh.
She was the best when it comes to HBO in the 2000s.
No, she was awesome.
And then the HBO.
And then she was in Oz before that.
Yes.
Before that, yeah.
Michael Imperioli did a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people that were in there did a lot of great stuff after and even before,
right.
As well. I just saw Michael Imperioli on an ad for I think it was last playoffs. I think so. Yeah, it was the last playoffs for the NBA. Michael Imperioli was in a really funny commercial with a bunch of NBA players. It was pretty cool. But anyway, that's your little rant on movies and entertainment for today. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's different. Usually, I mean, it's the first time we don't have a guest in 2.5, 3 months. So now we can just rant.
Bottom line, there's a lot of great movies out there to check out. A lot of great television series to check out.
It's cloudy day. I'm not sure you get out and get.
You're not going to be able to go out and take a walk if it's raining. I don't know if it's raining today.
Get yourself a cup of coffee or hot chocolate or whatever you.
Yeah, and watch whatever you
watch Scooby Doo.
Watch whatever you want to watch on television. Scooby Doo, yeah, Scooby Doo. That's another series that I don't think today is great, but back in the day, it was really good.
The cartoon, but when they
Scooby Doo was really good back in the day.
They brought the series back,
but they brought it back, and it's not as good now. That's another series that I would say is not as good.
There are some that full feature live just doesn't cut it for me. It needs to stay in. They did
a live version. They did a live action film of Scooby Doo.
They did.
It was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It was a product. It was a product of its time.
Just like
that's what it was.
When they did the Flintstones, I didn't like that either. I didn't like that.
John Goodman was in it, so that made it kind of funny. That made it kind of funny.
Yeah, but John Goodman, everything he does, in my opinion.
Yes. All right, let's finish up the birthdays and passings here, so we can take our first commercial break. 1943, Michael Palin's birthday today, Don.
Around the world in
80 days. Around the world in 80 days. A lot of great things.
Full Circle. He did a lot of other than doing Monty Python.
Yeah. I was going to say.
80s, he's a big train guy, so he did Michael Palin's Train Adventures. And then in 1988, he did Around the World in 80 Days, which is great. It's just and then
it's really informative.
Then in 91, he did Pole to Pole, and then he did Full Circle. He did all these adventure shows. If you like adventure shows and stuff like that, I recommend you watch that. It's really good.
All right, Bill Ward's birthday is today, 1948. Yeah, he was in Black Sabbath. What was the last album he did? Born Again, correct? I think so.
No.
Was he in Born Again?
No, he did Reunion. He did.
Okay, Reunion. Yeah, he did the Reunion album.
I mean,
yes.
Some say that those are drum tracks, but I think I'm not going to believe that. I think he.
I don't know.
They said because they toured that year, so that was the last thing he did. 2000.
And he
1999.
He didn't finish the tour. I don't think he had a heart attack.
No, he finished the tour. 99. Yes, he did.
He had a heart attack, didn't he?
No, he finished it.
Okay.
How old's Bill?
He had a heart attack at one point, though.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, it wasn't during that tour.
Wasn't during that tour?
No.
Okay.
I know. All right.
Okay, well, you definitely know more than I do. Yeah,
Right.
so I should
Take my word
listen
for
to you.
it. So how old is he?
I should listen to you.
How old is he?
1948. So that would make him 76 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we can talk about Deep Purple later.
You know, unfortunately, I would love to see him on that newest album, but it didn't happen,
Yeah. Well,
and that's unfortunate.
it's Sharon's fault.
It's somebody's fault.
Sharon.
I don't know who it is, but it's somebody's fault. That's whatever.
Right.
Anyway, we'll move on from that. We can argue all day whose fault it is, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. That's sad. Anyway, passings on this day, 1821, Napoleon, French general and emperor, one of the best generals in French history until he wasn't. He lost a major battle at Waterloo, and that was it. That was it for his career. That he lost a lot of other things as well. He was the most powerful man in France at one point, pretty much, and then he lost, and that was it. But Napoleon, pretty important figure in French history. Emperor, he made himself emperor, which is interesting. But that's what it was. He was the number one guy in France, and that's what happened. All right, 1821, he passed away on this day, May 5th, 1821. All right, that is our Today in History's passings, birthdays today. And when we come back, I don't know if we're going to do a musical recommendation or not.
Yes.
We're going to do that? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do that next.
I'm rejoicing.
So, but before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of some local stuff as well. Because this is called Middleboro in Review. So we're going to talk a little bit about Middleboro today here. But open phone lines, 508-822-1106 is the number. Call in, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review on WVF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. That was an interesting segment.
Look how time we blew. Wow.
That was an interesting segment.
It's just a lot of fun segment. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, television series aren't as fun to watch today as they were 20 years ago.
no, not at all.
Because they've been
You know what? And some people say, "Oh,
sterilized.
you get you older and whatever," and it's not that.
They've been sterilized too much. And when I was talking about Teen Titans, it was a really dark
I mean,
series.
you can look at a show like iCarly,
Yeah?
and I bet that's not sterilized enough.
No, that was... well, behind the scenes, it was a little dark.
No, well, who cares about that? It's nothing to do with that.
Behind the scenes was a little dark.
I'm just saying, even the program.
If you checked out the new documentaries that are out there, Nickelodeon documentaries, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, not great.
I don't care about behind the
Hey,
scenes.
check this out. It's our new local talk show lineup. Monday through
Ah,
Friday.
he's got new music, huh?
1530
Yeah.
and 99.7
You help him with this, ad?
I did.
WDVI. On Mondays, it's Ron Lancaster. On Thursdays, it's Hank Mello. On Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Friday, it's Coffee with Tony. Starting right after the 9 a.m. news. Oh, and don't forget, Silver City Meeting House every Saturday at 9 a.m. with Carol and Barry.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces.
Okay,
Ride
What's
motorcycles
going on in
as a
Middleboro?
hobby. Our mission
I don't know.
is
I'm gonna
to
do blood
support
drives.
Those who have defended our country and
I'm gonna talk
freedoms.
about blood drives.
Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing,
Oh, are they doing
shelter,
a hometown
We're
hero
simply
thing
to
next
say
week?
thank you and welcome home.
No, that's the end of the month.
We have members from nearly
That's towards the end of the month. We'll talk about that next week.
No, it's not. It's
Many
next week.
members continue
It's next
to
week?
serve the armed forces.
What day?
Several serving in
I don't know.
combat areas now.
I think it's like the 18th.
Or participate
No, they told me
So, hold on. It's gonna be the.
As a nonprofit
I think it's the 17th.
donate to various
I think it's the 17th.
it's not Joe. You're thinking.
It's the 10th? Is it the 10th?
Association.
I thought I saw the 17th somewhere.
Join or support. Please visit.
I thought it was the 16th. I thought I saw something.
I thought.
No, I swear I thought I saw something. I think it was the 17th.
All right, let me look it up. We'll talk
Look it
about
up.
After this.
Look it up. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. And let's get to some blood drives. We got a couple of blood drives here in the month of May that I want to make sure I talk about. We have Thursday, May 16th at the Rosebrook Event Center, 50 Rosebrook Place, number 1, Wareham, Massachusetts, 1 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. May 17th, Friday, May 17th, at the Wareham Council on Aging, 48 Marion Road in Wareham, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And Saturday, May 18th, at the Raynham Lions Club, 2234 King Philip Street in Raynham, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for that blood drive. And while Don is looking up some information for us about an important event coming up in Middleboro, which is coming up this month, I'm going to switch over to our music recommendation segment. Sometimes we do this. It's not every week, but, some weeks here on the show we do this segment where we talk about new music or older music that we found and think that everyone should know about. That's why we call it the music recommendation segment here on Middleboro in Review. Our music recommendation for today is going to be a song and an album. We're going to make sure we talk about the album too, which is coming out, I believe it's July 7th, if I'm not mistaken. It is the newest album by Deep Purple. It's going to be the 20th, a lot of albums. Deep Purple has a lot of albums. This is their newest one. It's called Equals One, which is an interesting. It's an interesting name for an album, but
Yeah, they've had
we'll
some
leave it at
interesting
that.
album names over the years, and they had a song called "Portable Door" that came out on
Very good.
Tuesday.
It sounds like they have breathed new life into the band. They have a new guitarist, and he's very, very good.
Yeah, his name is Simon McBride. He's from Ireland, and he's pretty good. He's younger than those guys. Those guys are like in their 70s. We got Ian Gillan on vocals. We got Ian Peace on drums, and Ian Peace. It's funny because he's been in every Deep Purple album since day one, even when Ian Gillan was out, and then they got Roger Glover on bass, they got Don Airey on keyboards, and then they got Simon McBride on guitar. So this will be the 5th guitarist in their history, and it's pretty good. It's just like, when people think, they're all washed up, they come out with a new album. And it just goes to show, the Stones are still putting albums out. The Zombies did an album a couple of years ago. I love the idea that these bands are still putting out albums. I mean, if they can sing, it's different. It's no Childhood Time, from 1970. He doesn't have the pipes from when he was in his 20s. So they just do the song different. They're not, it's less is more kind of thing. And it's good. It is like almost a popish song in a way. They're a lot of fun. It's not super heavy, but the Hammond B3 organ is a signature with Deep Purple for years, and they really have that. So that's on YouTube. It's called Portable Door. It's a great, great song. Check it out. And I think it's on Mach 10. They started with Mach 1, the first 3 albums. And then they had a bass player. Nick Simpson was the bass player, right? He left, Joey, right?
Yes.
And then Rod Evans was the singer, and they left. And they were replaced by Ian Gillan and Roger Glover, bass player, singer. So now it becomes Mach 2 Deep Purple. They put 4 albums out. They put out 4 albums, and then Ian Gillan and Roger Glover get fired, and now you got...
They were fired?
They were fired. They were fired.
Not good.
Yep.
Not good.
And then you have Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale.
Yeah.
And they do 2 albums with Richie Blackmore and the boys there, and then Richie Blackmore decides he wants to leave.
He starts a Rainbow,
That's
which...
a running deal. And
Thank
then,
you, Richie Blackmore, for doing that.
And then they bring Tommy Bolin from the James Gang, and he replaced Joe Walsh. So it's a big family tree. And then they put out Come Taste the Band, and then Tommy Bolin passes away, or the band breaks up, and then he passes away. And then if you look on Wikipedia, you'll see that Deep Purple, it says 1968 to 1976.
Yeah, and Glenn...
And then 1984 present.
And Glenn and Tommy Bolin were very close. Glenn still, to this day, plays... why am I forgetting the name of the song? I shouldn't be forgetting the name of the song.
Burn.
No, that's not it.
Yeah,
Getting Tighter.
Getting Tighter. That's off the 19.
Getting Tighter. Getting Tighter.
That's the band. Right.
Yes, so that's off of the Come Taste the Band album.
Right.
Pretty much every show that Glenn does, he plays Getting Tighter.
Yeah, well, he
as a tribute to Tommy Bolin.
Well, he sang it on the album. He did the
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did the vocals for that. Glenn Hughes did.
Right. So we don't have a lot of time to talk about, but they're like Mach 10 now. I mean, and then Mach 2 came back in 84, and then this guy left, and this guy came. And
yeah, their history is very complicated, and they have a massive family tree that involves Sabbath, it involves Rainbow,
Whitesnake,
James Gang, like you just said.
2 bands formed from Deep Purple, Whitesnake, and James Gang.
Yep.
You have the Dixie Dreads because of Steve Morse.
Mm-hmm.
You have Don Airey, who was with Ozzy.
Don Airey was in a lot of different things.
A lot of different bands. And this guy, Simon McBride,
Don Airey. I think Don Airey... Wasn't Don Airey with Judas Priest briefly?
He was with everybody.
Yeah, he was with Judas Priest. I believe he played keyboards on Painkiller.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He was on the Never Say Die album with Black Sabbath.
Don Airey also played. He went overseas to Britain, and he lives in Britain. But this band that he worked with went overseas to Britain. There we go. The other way around. This band that he worked with called Anthem. And Anthem are a Japanese band who are very, very good. You should check them out. Anthem. A lot of their music is in Japanese, but it's still very, very good. And they're fun to listen to. They did an album in the 90s, and it's very good. Don Airey is on that album, so that's something to check out. Another Japanese, while we're on the Japanese rock and roll bands real quick, another band to check out is Ninjin Izu. They're very, very good too.
Well, Deep Purple is pretty much all British, except for they had 4 Americans. They had Tommy Bolin.
Yep.
He's guitarist. They had Joe Lynn Turner, who was with Rainbow. He was American. He did one album, Slaves and Masters, in 1990. They had Joe Satriani, who toured. Richie Blackmore, his attitude, how Rich can get, right? He quit.
I guess so, yeah.
So he toured. So that was technically the Mach 5 version of Deep Purple. The tour itself of Battle Rages On. And then you got Steve Morse. He was American. So you have, but all the other players were all Britain. So now it's all Britain, and Irish, because Simon McBride is Irish from Ireland. So yeah.
Wasn't one of the members was in Kansas? Was that Steve Morse as well?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
he was in Kansas.
Steve Morse was in Kansas.
I forget the name of the album. off the top of
Yeah,
my head.
so I mean, it's just, and then what's that one that?
There's so much. There's just so much.
What's that one? Something Beyond.
Captain Beyond.
Captain Beyond. That was Nick Simpson.
Nick Simpfer and Rod Evans went to that band, I believe.
Right.
Yep.
That was when they
left.
Right. So. I mean, yeah.
And
it is funny too because you have members of Deep Purple joining Whitesnake. So you had Ian Peace and John Lord, the keyboard and drummer, going with David Coverdale to do the early Whitesnake, and then you got other places. It's just the family tree is insane. I mean, we'll be here till 11 o'clock tonight talking about it. So.
And the family tree also involves Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber as well, because Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber hired Ian Gillan to do the soundtrack for Jesus Christ Superstar. That was fun.
After hearing the song "Child of Time,"
yes,
they heard that song and they're like, "This is our guy."
Yeah, yeah.
1970.
And then that got made into a movie that launched Ted Neely's career. Right. And Ted Neely is a very, very good singer, and he still is to this very day. He's still a very, very good singer. He still does a lot of performances and does the Jesus Christ Superstar stuff, and it's really, really good. He's
and the drummer Ian Pace, he's played with Gary Moore, David Coverdale. Technically, it's funny. David Coverdale's only been in Whitesnake after that. He's never done anything. He started Whitesnake in '77, and he hasn't done anything else with anybody else.
We'd be here all day talking about this, but we're gonna take our last commercial break right now, and when we get back, we're gonna do our transportation segment. Now was gonna get really fun because Don can rant. Anyway, let's take our last commercial break.
He's smart because he puts me up against the clock here.
Well, I mean, you got about 10 minutes to talk about transportation.
Anyway. Like Tony said, 10 minutes is a long time.
It is. All right, here we go. Our last commercial break. We'll be right back here on Middleboro Review on WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. I love it. We're all over the place today. I love it. Great show. We're just all over the place. We don't know what we'll talk about.
Well, I mean, we've been all business. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. All business.
All business recently, so we should have a fun show. Yeah.
Anybody watching on the...
Paul! Hi, Paul!
What's up, Paul? Tell him I got those videos. I watched them. Tell him thank you for the...
Thank you for the videos.
Very good. I'll see if he wants to... Hey, Paul, you want to come ride CT Railroads one day down to New York? That's the best way to go. So I'll go...
CT Rail's fun. I like CT Rail. It's fun.
The trains run better than the... Shoreline East.
Something I want to do, if it's feasible, because there's so many airports, ride all the airport trains.
Well, you can unless you have to take a passenger.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I know Atlanta. There's one main one in Atlanta. It's a subway. It runs underneath the runway.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. But I know with Brightline, you got to take a people mover out to the station on the main terminal.
Yeah. Alright, I'm not doing any sports today.
Yeah,
I don't want to do any sports. No, I don't. I'm not doing any sports. No. We don't have time.
Well, just say you should say the Bruins won. No sports, but the Bruins won.
Okay.
Let everyone know the Bruins won.
Fine.
Because that was a whole train of
No, you're right. A lot of people were going to this game yesterday.
And they were all, they're not going to win. All those kids in the Bears, what, 15 of them? They're like, they're not going to
They
win.
almost didn't. They almost didn't.
No, it was
No,
two.
2-1.
No.
They almost didn't. It went to overtime. I was like, oh no, it's going to overtime.
Did you
They're gonna
watch it?
lose. No. But I was like, oh no, they're going to overtime. They're gonna lose this game, and they didn't. They didn't. I was pleasantly surprised.
That's cool.
Because they have they had like 20 overtime losses this year. I was like, oh no, they went to overtime. They're gonna lose, and they didn't. I'm very happily surprised by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think they're gonna get beaten up pretty badly by the Florida Panthers,
You never know, dude. You
but
never know.
I don't know if it's
Well,
gonna
they
be
survived another
as
day.
bad as I thought
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
at least that's good.
Yeah, they survived another day to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just mention that real quick.
I'll mention it
So no sports. but-
briefly. I'll mention it briefly. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. And we are back here on Middleboro in Review. Real quick, no sports today, but you will be getting a really good dose of sports 2 weeks from today with me and my friend Eric Dunn. He'll be on Middleboro in Review here. He was on Middleboro Matters this past Thursday. He'll be on Middleboro in Review with me May 19th. Dawn will be away that day. So it's going to be me and Eric. And it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be all sports, wrestling, hockey, baseball, basketball, tennis, anything we can get into, horse racing, anything we can
Right.
get into when it comes to
You know,
sports.
and you know what? It's just like you're not going to get your morning coffee with Eric.
No,
You gotta. He's a ball of energy.
He's great.
And
He's great.
He's a great kid. He's passionate about what he does.
very passionate about sports,
really
as am I, Pat.
Right,
as
right.
am I as well.
He comes across, so just be prepared. That's all I'm saying for the Sunday morning listeners.
It's gonna be great.
Most Sunday morning, they're letting up. They get their first cup of coffee. They might be turning us on, and then woo, woo, and there comes Eric. And you're like, wow!
It's gonna be great. It's
your coffee's gonna spill.
it's-
What the?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So 2 weeks from
Yeah.
today, it's gonna be great.
Those guys make a good team. They both know their stuff. They really-
And
so,
next week we have Ezekiel Lewis, a school
you
committee
said that
member.
before. You said I heard that before. Didn't I hear that before? Like
Yes, you heard that before a couple weeks ago,
And
a couple
somebody-
months ago.
And someone didn't follow up with their guest.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
Yeah.
But yes,
You know, I'll go buy
it
you
happened.
it later.
It was also Easter, so
Yeah, no, you probably didn't realize. But
let's-
now it's Mother's Day.
let's just say that it was also Easter.
Now it's Mother's Day.
Now it's Mother's Day, but
So,
I'm
Easter,
gonna
Mother's
be
Day.
following up here
Yeah.
as soon as we get off the air. Actually,
Well,
okay,
good.
Anyway, so no sports today, but I just want to mention that the Kentucky Derby was yesterday.
We should go next year, Joey. We should go to the Kentucky Derby.
We got to dress accordingly.
You do?
Well, I mean, you don't have to, but
What do you mean? Yeah,
you probably should.
Why?
I mean, because there are a lot of people there with suits and very extravagant clothing there.
I had someone I knew. He used to go every year, and he used to camp in the middle. And they let campers in the middle, and they sit there, and and you kind of stuck there
Yeah.
until they close it.
Congratulations to Mystic Dan winning the 2024 Kentucky Derby, and also, it was a three-way tie, pretty much, or pretty close to it. It was a very good finish, by the way.
When's
Photo
Belmont
finish.
next week?
What?
When's Belmont next week?
Belmont is coming up very shortly, in a few weeks, and then Preakness is in June. So that's going to be coming up shortly as well. And I also want to mention congratulations to the Boston Bruins for winning their their round 1 series in 7 in overtime against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Gotta feel a little bit bad for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, heartbreak. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind.
That's all right. It's Canada. Who cares? Cry to someone else.
Eventually, Canada's going to win. Eventually. Maybe not this year.
No.
Well, I mean, there's still 2 Canada teams in.
Yeah.
So, don't count them out yet.
Don't count them in.
Don't
either.
count them out.
Don't count them in either.
I gotta be a little bit, what's the word?
Your glass is half full and the glass is half empty.
What's the word? I can't favor one team. I gotta be right down the middle. Because that's how I am when it comes to sports. I'm right down the middle.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I gotta be right down the middle when it comes to sports.
All
For
right.
me, that's just how I roll.
So much.
Anyway.
We're not doing a sports thing, but hey, by the way,
So Bruins and Florida Panthers tomorrow night, game 1. Should be fun.
I'm looking at the clock here.
All right.
My transportation.
We have 3
topic
minutes.
is really
We have 3 minutes to do a Don. We have 3 minutes to do our transportation topic. Okay. So, real quick, MBTA maintenance has been done on the Blue Line, and apparently has been able to remove all Blue Line speed restrictions. An overall number of restrictions on rail transit networks dips below 100 for the first time in more than a year, which that is a big deal. A total of 19 speed restrictions were eliminated over a 5-mile stretch of the Blue Line during work that began on April 17th and was extended 2 additional days to allow for completion of all planned work. Removal of these restrictions has cut travel time by 3 minutes and has cut the number of restrictions across the board of the whole rail transit network to below 100. So that is a pretty big deal there as well. There's a lot of work going on the Red Line right now.
You can walk fast up the Red Line. I watched those trains go through Braintree off of Route 3. Oh my god!
And also, I was telling you about the busiest T stop yesterday, and you were laughing at me saying it wasn't South Station.
Oh, T stop. I thought you meant commuter rail.
No, T stop.
Okay, no, downtown Crossing.
And you were laughing. It's no longer downtown Crossing.
What is it?
It is going to be South Station. So downtown Crossing was once the MBTA's busiest rapid transit stop, with its location near the financial district.
You didn't tell me rapid transit. I thought you meant commuter
I
rail.
said T.
I didn't know.
I said T.
You did not.
I did say T. I said T to you.
Yeah, but commuter rail is technically T.
Oh well.
Well, because they got the Silver Line there too. They got 2 Silver Line branches that merge in.
Okay.
And they merge that, right?
Let me finish this story here. But downtown Crossings traffic was down 56% last year compared to 5 years earlier. It is no longer the transit system's busiest station. For the past 2 years, that honor has went to another Red Line stop half a mile away, the South Station. So South Station is now the busiest T stop once again.
So I got 30
it probably was before, and now it is again.
So now I got 30 seconds to rent. Is that what it is you telling me?
I think we're out of time.
Right.
You don't have any. Sorry, you don't have any time to rant. I think we're out of time.
Oh, it's 7:59.
Well, once I'm done here with my closing, it'll be 8 o'clock. All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us today.
Thank you for my rant, Joey. I really appreciate it.
We'll get to it. I promise.
No, you won't.
Maybe next week.
No.
Well, we have a guest next week, but I'm sure we can get to it.
Yeah, I gotta say one thing.
What?
Okay, the River Line in New Jersey. It's a diesel trolley system. It's like a light rail. It runs on regular commuter rail tracks. Runs on freight tracks. They're like four cars. The city should buy that for the Greenbush line. They don't need all that heavy equipment running through town. The emissions are a lot smaller, and the stations are closer. Just buy those. It's dumb buying all this heavy stuff for these light rail, these short rails, these everything that's together. Too much. The stations are too close. I mean, you don't need all this. You don't all need these engines. The freight train engines. Just
okay.
River Line, call New Jersey Transit and get.
We'll be doing that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, 8:01. We're gonna go. Thank you for listening to the show today. Next week, Ezekiel Lewis will be in. We'll be talking with him about Middleboro schools. What's going on there. So we'll be back next week with another edition of Middleboro in Review. Join me Thursday for another edition of Middleboro Matters. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, everybody.